Testing 1, 2.
You think you know about relationships, but you're wrong. Listen, there's no magic bullet. I'm teaching life skills.
When you're sick, you need medicine. It don't always taste good, but if it gets you better, you need this medicine. It ain't gonna always taste good, but this is what you need. Men and women, bottom line, we need to have the conversation. Your partner wants to give up control, but only if you know how to drive. This is about being the best you could ever be, whoever you are. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, LGBTQ, space alien. I'll save anybody. I don't care. I'll teach a hedgehog how to have a threesome.
What do you mean by that?
Look, you don't have to listen to me, but you're wrong.
Listen, I know I'm great. And I know you're thinking, Dante, there's no way I could be like you. But you could be me, you know why?
Because you know who I was? Before I was me, I was you.
Man score 202.
Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Now put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.
Yo, GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do to sexual revolutions being podcasted? And I'm excited. Happy Thursday. It's good to have everybody in the building. Let me give a shout out to people in the First of all, thank you. Happy Thursday. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to Huni, Jabril, Shaman, 05 line, ZD, and Harmonies. What's up? Xavier in the building. Rattlesnake. Young Bass Prince in the building. What up? Big shouts. Who else is in the building? I think that's everybody. How we sound? If we sounding good, give me a thumbs up in the comments. Got a lot to talk about. Cash App is up. Phone lines are open. Send me some money. It's good to be here. Just trying to be consistent. It's trying to do the right thing. Feel like everybody's still coming in, so I'm trying to give people a little time to recognize that we got there. That's another thing. Don't forget to like. Everybody get the liked up in whatever platform you're watching it on. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just get the likes up, please. I'm also on X. I think I'm gonna stop going on X. It's crap. Don't forget, send me some money. I see you, young bass Prince. We man, I just really appreciate everybody giving me the support that he can. I was just looking at some other relationship gurus today, and I was interesting what's out there. But I'm gonna shut my mouth because I ain't gonna get into that because that has nothing to do with what we're doing. We're trying to move things forward and teach men how to be men. Interesting, and how to be intellectually curious. I mean, the problem a lot of times, if you're not big shouts, Prince Terrell in the building. Prince Terrell in the building with the cash app already. Xavier with the $20. Prince Terrell with the $20. Kevin Lava in the building with $5. Xavier with $5. Thank you, bro. Y'all, appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. Just it's interesting, man. It's interesting. I was just looking at some of the relationship gurus in the game. Just, whew, man, some of the stuff that they're saying is. But I ain't gonna front. They look the part, right? They look the part. I mean, they're not 58 years old. They're not 58 years old, but they do look the part. You know what I mean? Kevin the Maker in the building. What's going on? Park Chan Wook in the building. You got your shout out, baby. I realized something that oh wow, we already calling. I love it. I'm loving it. I'm gonna shut my mouth and let y'all run this show.
Accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press...
What's up? Where you calling from?
Yo, it's Major.
What up, Mage?
Yo, what up?
What's going on, man? How you been, brother? How's everything?
I'm good. Everything's great, man. How are you?
Let me just say this to all the fans out there. Major is been a disciple for how long now, Mage?
Over 3 years.
Over 3 years. And Major's my dog. Major's actually working on the website. So big shouts to Major, y'all. Give him a thumbs up in the comments and it's funny because Major give you your you don't mind me giving you background. Major moved here from Canada.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And Major has actually come to the comedy club and hung out, and we've actually become, what up, Odie? 808 Presley, what's popping? And we've actually become friends. Cause I'm pretty approachable, right, Major?
Yeah. No, definitely. We can tell the story. You want to share the story?
You tell it. Better if it comes from you, then I don't feel like I'm tooting my own horn.
Yeah. So I think first week I moved to New York, and I just wanted to see some comedy, and I was already listening to the Man School back when I was living in Canada, and I just thought, okay, it'd be cool just to see Dante up in person. And then after his set, I just went to talk to him. I was so nervous because I wasn't sure like what kind of guy he was, but he was so approachable, very down to earth dude. I was so self-conscious of myself that he recognized it, and he's like, you realize you're just holding on to yourself, and that's what I was. That's what I was doing.
I think what I said your problem is you don't take up space.
Yes. That's what it was.
I think that was. And
I started kind of going back and forth. I was like, I'm not taking no space. And it was just, it was. He was just trying to help, but it was all good. I mean, it was all well intentioned, but and then we just started this great friendship, and we just kept talking. And
now I want to say something. There was periods of times like, okay, so just so y'all know, Major, like, first of all, Major, will you tell them to check out my comedy on my YouTube page, please? Because I am the greatest comic of all time. No, I wouldn't say that, but
I will tell you this, just as somebody who's been to the comedy club.
Not only that, but you're a comedy fan, so you go.
Yeah, and listen, like I'm pretty open of like who isn't good at comedy, who stinks, who's great. Like I've been very open just as a comedy fan, right? Dante and I talk about this all the time. But I will just say, as somebody who's just seeing comic, Dante kills it. It's actually great when the hecklers come because people don't know what they're getting, and that's when you just get the popcorn ready and you see what Dante's all about. Yeah, but no, it's always great.
Man, thank you, Major. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah. So anyway, if you ever see Dante, go check out his show. Go when he's touring. Honestly, bring a friend, bring a girlfriend, bring a date.
Yeah.
Go check out Dante. He definitely worth your money. That's what I can say.
Yeah, there's times where you've come with a date and I would give you pointers while you're there at the date. I was like, yo, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, you would text me and you would just give me the play-by-play.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Listen, I always notice though, because I just wanted to get the ball rolling. I always notice sometimes it takes first
I
call
appreciate.
And then,
The people get a little nervous.
After. Yeah. So listen, I just it's funny because you talk about other people, relationship gurus and stuff, but the whole Dante's one of the first people to tell me about Ace. And I told him, like, if I hadn't met him or I hadn't learned from him, I'd probably be in a very bad direction. Just that's not entwined with Ace. Right?
Yeah.
It's just we live in a society that's full of people that are malicious and lying and deceitful. So yeah, no, it's I know there was some things with the consultation, the price, but it's worth every dollar. Just to
I
hear
appreciate you, Majors, man. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you, bro, and it's really been amazing watching you grow, and watching you grow, and it's I always say it's simple, but it ain't easy, and there's a situation where you just got to stay on it. If you stay on it, it'll lead you to the down the yellow brick road to you'll find your way there. Just got to use Ace as your true north, man. So thank you, brother. Thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate you, bro.
No problem. Yeah, of course, man. All right, I'll see you later, man.
All right, brother. Right. Later. Bye. Phone lines are open, 929-269-4922. Yeah, and we all have our personal growth. It's even me. I mean, at 58 years old, I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm still teaching. I'm still learning things about myself, and I'm questioning my own stuff, man. And I it's this is what I like. I love when they start rolling in.
Jay.
Jay, where you calling from, family?
How you doing, Dante? It's Jay. I'm calling from Florida.
What's going on, Jay? What's going on? What's popping, man? Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
For sure, my man. So two things real quick, right? So the first one is I actually called a while back ago, around the same time, the first time TK Kirkland had came through on the pod with you and Godfrey.
Yeah. Okay.
The one where he was tripping out and he was like, Dante, you're too loud.
Let me ask you this though. Do you listen from Godfrey's you usually listen on Godfrey's YouTube, or do you listen on mine?
As far as like the content,
how you came to listening to this stuff, like.
Yeah, I found you on Godfrey. So unfortunately, I wasn't really in tune to the Black Phillip or Beige Phillip, but yeah, through Godfrey.
Okay, all right, cool. Just good to know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but quick, go ahead.
No, but you were saying about TK.
Yeah, so I watched that episode where he was going on this whole little thing about you and your tone and all that stuff. So fast forward to this past week where I guess he was a guest last Tuesday.
Yeah.
And me personally, when I found out he was a guest, the first thing on my mind was like, well, I know Dante's gonna co-host, so I wonder how Dante's gonna approach it this time, right? And the minute the episode started and you first like started speaking, I'm like, oh shit, Dante's tone completely changed. Because I know that's something you kept in the back of your head. You're always trying to refine, be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I'm like, okay. Now the only thing left on my mind was, shit, is TK gonna acknowledge it, right? So the episode that came out yesterday, part 2.
Yeah.
I want to say about 20 seconds in, he was going off on a little rant, but then he stopped himself to give you the compliment. I noticed your tone had changed. And I'm like, let's fucking go, Dante. That's what the fuck we talking about, bro.
Now,
excuse my language. I know you're trying to get
No, that's fine. It's fine. We on the live. It's fine. I want to say something to you. I'm going to tell you something. So let me give you the background of that, right? I love TK, right? I love TK.
Yeah.
But I also know TK has a way of, not so much now because he's older, but TK will go at you and he'll set you up for the joke. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I the thing was that I had been talking to TK and I had talked on the phone. I called to check up on him, and we, it was all that. And if TK really wanted to, if he really thought if my tone was a problem, right? There are multiple times that he could have said something before we were on live with 4,000 people listening, right? But he didn't. Now, so I get it. Comics go at each other, but still, in the back of my mind was like, damn, dog. If this was really a problem, you could have said something. I mean, he could have said something to me when I called him to check up on him. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little kind of like, but I also know that's how TK is. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it is, but you also, that whether or not it comes from a funky place or not, you still have to receive the information and see if this is a better, if it's the better approach. And what happens is, what I realize is a lot of times when I'm doing consultations, I'm in my house and I've got my phone on speaker and I'm in the house and I'm working, I'm editing, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. I may be working out. So I'm yelling because I'm in the phone's on speaker and I want you to hear. And so it ends up being something where you tend to do that. And so it was just a mindful, but whether or not I thought that the joke was funky or not, because I thought it, honestly, to be honest, I thought it was a little funky, because he could have did that. He could have did it to me. He could have had a conversation with me way before he kind of held it.
Right.
But it doesn't, I just want to say, thanks for recognizing it, because the bottom line is, I'm always trying to be better. Now here's the thing that I've said to TK. And even if you watch that episode, Godfrey asked him if he is a good guy. I don't know if you heard that.
Was this in the past episode?
No, the last episode. He asked Godfrey asked him, "Are you a good guy?"
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And I remember him saying, "Hell no." He responded, "Hell no," really fast.
Right. And first he paused for a while, right? And then he was like, "Man, I had to think about that." So in a way, TK is 60-something years old, and so TK has mellowed immensely, throughout the years. I'm not gonna air his dirty laundry, right? But there was some dirtbag shit that TK did back in the days, and I love him to death, and I'm just not gonna air his laundry. I mean, you can Google it or whatever. But the point is, and on the first time I've asked this about anybody that has like a checkered past, what is the moment that you knew you had to change? And I asked him that, and he really didn't have a defined moment, right? Where he could say, this is when I changed. This is what made me change. And what I find is when you don't have that defined moment, it's really it's difficult to maintain your true north, because you don't have anything to reference. You don't have anything to reference that keeps you in line. You understand what I mean? So
Totally, man.
people, it's very difficult for people to change. Now look, being 66 is it, but that's a gradual thing. I mean, usually, you know what I'm saying? If you a kid, and I have a really cool story. Years ago, I talk about fear, and I say that fear exists between the time that the opportunity presents itself and how long you take to access it. And in my youth, I spent so much time. I was afraid of everything. Be clear. I was afraid of everything. And I literally got into a point where I had confronted fear so often that I didn't have fear. Like, it wasn't useful to me. And I was fearless to a point of where I was dangerous. I was married at the time. My stepdaughter she was really smart, and she loved us to go, me and my wife at the time, to go to she loved for us to go to parent teachers night. She's the only kid that wanted both of us to go. She used to pick out our clothes, right? And so it was like a whole parent teacher night with her, because she was a straight A student. And then we had to go speak to every one of her teachers and hear them talk to her, talk about how great she was, right? And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, you don't clean up your room all the time. You don't always take a shower either. How about that? Like, the teacher was like, she's the wind between my wing. Like, it was just really ridiculous how much they loved my stepdaughter. And I was like, even just like, she's smart, but look, she ain't perfect. And if you saw her goofy ass room and how filthy she was, and the food, I was like, because I never had that where a teacher was,
If I can interrupt you really quick, Dante, this hopefully will give you an idea how much I tune into you, especially since finding you on Godfrey's podcast. Right? I remember you telling a story about your stepdaughter where I guess like it has something to do with her room.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can repeat the story if you'd like, but I was just gonna say, from my perspective, hearing you tell the story about making the mess in her room and basically the dynamic that came out of that.
Yeah, hold on. Big shout to Presley, thank you for the $5. And Prince Terrell, thank you for the $20. Thank you. Kevin Lava, also thank you. Thank you. I appreciate y'all on the Cash App. Thank you. Send me some money. I'll tell that story, but this was actually a different story. But I'll tell you, I can tell you, if I get some time, I'll tell the story. So so the other thing was, I used to pick her up. I used to ride motorcycles. I still ride motorcycles, and I used to so she would go there with her mom. They would talk about man, the fucking y'all in the chat gossiping. So but I'm driving. I used to drive this VMAX, which was a muscle bike, and I had it like just looked like some Road Warrior shit. And as I'm going to home, I'm going to because I would go there in motorcycle gear. My wife at the time would go there all sexy out with 6-inch heels. She'd be the baddest mom, and then I used to pull up, and then she used to jump on the back of my bike. I would put the helmet on her. I would pop a wheelie, and then we would pull off. And you imagine, as a kid, now you the coolest kid ever, right?
Right, for life.
His mom her mom was smoking hot. And then I would come up like it with a motorcycle jacket, pop a wheelie, and then she would ride home, and then we would, take her out for ice cream and to eat and whatever, right? So I'm going down. I'm in Crown Heights. I'm riding down Bedford Avenue, and these two young dudes decide. They point at the bike, and the guy goes to me, points at my bike, because this is at the time when like there was ninjas and everything was fluorescent green and all these crazy colors and stuff. And my bike was
Right.
it was purposely rusted out, like I threw acid on the chrome so that it was like, it looked like something out of Mad Max. And the guy goes, "Yo, how about I give you $5 for your bike?" Right? About three kids, maybe about 20 years old, 22 years old. And I go, "How about I get off the bike and punch you in the mouth for $4?
Right.
And I get off the bike and they like, whoa, like they think I'm serious. But this is my wild times. And I pop one of them in the mouth, right?
Damn.
Do I have pictures of the bike? Nah, I don't think I do. Maybe I do. I'll have to dig it up. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll look for the pictures and see if I can put them up next week or next time I go live. But and I'm trying to, in my mind, I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna break this dude's arm. And I was doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu at the time. I was like, I'm gonna break this dude's arm, and then I'm gonna just help. It's my way of helping him. And I was like, I'm gonna break his arm, and I'm gonna teach him a lesson so that for the rest of his life, because I'm all about teaching, right? And I'm gonna break his arm, and then when he's grown and he's 50 years old, he's gonna be able to tell his nephews and cousins, listen, watch your mouth, because this is what happened to me. And let me tell you what, this motherfucker got off the bike and broke my arm. I wanted to be that story. So I'm grabbing the kid, I'm trying to hold them down, but they're so young and wiry. Every time I get one down, the one of them hit me over the back with a garbage can, and then another one hit me up. I had my motorcycle jacket on. The guy takes his belt off and he whap, I hear a whap, but it's on my motorcycle jacket, so I don't really I don't really feel it. And then they kind of picked up one of those big metal garbage cans. They dropped it. I could feel the weight as I was trying to get this guy's arm so I could pop his arm out the socket. And I felt the weight, and I threw it off. And then I grabbed one and they were like little mice. They would run around, was grabbing one and tripping the other one. And I just couldn't get them because they were just young and fast. And the guy who said the thing about the $5. I get him, I'm holding him by the wrist. He's trying to pull away. He can't pull away. And he goes, Mister, you can hear the sirens coming, right? He goes, right. Mister, you still fighting? And I go, Mister, you pussy, you fucking like, how dare you have respect for me at this point when you weren't talking to, and I said, I'm gonna break your fucking arm. That's what I'm gonna. And he's like, now I got one of them and kicked me in the face. My nose was bleeding. I smeared the blood, right? I still had the glasses. I still had my shades on. I still had my helmet on, and I had dry blood on my face. And somebody had kicked me in the kidneys, but I was still trying. I'm gonna pop this dude's arm out the socket. Finally, he said, Mister, please stop. And I just got tired, and he pulled away from me, and they ran down the block.
Yep, that was the end of that.
I get on the block. Which I really think I still accomplished my point that because I know from now on, they gonna like, I'm never gonna open my mouth. You never know. Like this crazy motherfucker on a crazy bike. So I go to the school to pick up my daughter and my stepdaughter at the time, and she goes, and I go, listen, I got into a little scrap on the way, right? Which my wife at the time was kind of used to that, right? She's like, what happened? I had dried blood smeared on my face at the sun. I go, listen, why don't y'all go in and talk to the teachers? I'll wait out here for you. And I remember this like it was yesterday. my stepdaughter would said, "No, leave it on. You look great." Right? She just wanted this image of my father's a fucking maniac and my mother is a hot piece of ash, right? But I also thought about that in terms of that I had no fear, right? But I couldn't wrangle these three guys together. And if the guy had a screwdriver or an ice pick or a knife, he could have stuck me in my kidneys, right? And I could have literally bled out on the street because, but I didn't, at the time, I didn't have any fear because I had basically practiced not being afraid to the point where, fear has a place to a certain extent. It's to let you know that this is a dangerous situation. And when you don't have no fear, you're willing to, you're just not aware that you could be in a dangerous situation. And so it was something that incident made me go, I understand you don't want to be afraid because that's why we lay the 5 bricks. That's why we practice. That's why we do the consultations. Don't forget consultations, DanteNero.com. Click on consult for the one-on-one consultations. Y'all know what it is. But it made me think I need to readjust, right? I don't need to be so fearless that I end up dead either, right? Mm-hmm. But I also think that I guarantee you that's a story that them 3 boys is going to be talking about for the rest. This was probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I guarantee you that to this day they're going, remember that time we blah blah. You know what I'm saying? It's just a story that you would tell. So there's always a moment that you could learn. You know, is what I'm saying. That you always can learn, and you can learn from anybody, even when my point of this was, even when the intention was not to, there was no intention for me to be a better person. So, TK was getting in my ass because that's what he does, which is fine, but in no shape or form was it, let me get his brother a heads up because I want him to be a better human being,
Right. If anything, Dante, if I can say one thing, one of the biggest things that I pulled from that interaction, just seeing TK give you your props for, making that adjustment.
Yeah.
Like everybody on this live knows, like, over the course of your career, your tenure, everything you did in your life, you're a master of your craft. But if anything that I pull from that moment, it's like, even a master of craft is subject to weakness, but also receptive to constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
Right.
And this is the problem with a lot of the so-called, because I went down the rabbit hole with all these so-called gurus, right? You just don't, it's just, if you think you know everything, you don't know nothing. It's questions.
I heard a quote one time which said, the minute you stop learning, you die.
Yeah. Well, you may not die, but you definitely don't grow.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I was looking at I'm trying not to mention nobody's name, but y'all know there's guys who have been on Fresh and Fit as guests and stuff, and it's just and couple and don't get me wrong, like I talk about Kevin Samuels and what he did, the stuff that he did that was good, but I also talk about the stuff that I thought was just way off base and that it was exploited, But I was also looking at what the consultations for these frauds, and like an hour consultation, there is like $1,500.
Yeah, that's some cheese.
From charlatans that I know. I have testimony. I don't even ask. There's gonna be when we drop the shout out to Major just called up because he was working on the website for me. But one of the things we did, we took videos and put testimonials up. And I'd just like to put this out. If there's anybody in the chat or anybody that's listening that has done a consultation with me, I would love it if you could just text me a little 30-second or 60-second video. So I would love to add it to the website if y'all could. If you're
This is the
listening,
Man School 202 website you're talking about?
because I'm getting ready to.
DanteNero.com?
Yeah, the website. It's my website, and Man School is a part of it. So,
Okay.
but DanteNero.com is the website. So, yeah. But if you've done a consultation, man, it would be great help if you if you hit me with a little 30-second video of your experience of doing the consultations, because this movement, it's really, I really am sad about the fact that people are getting robbed and they're not really getting the goody good, and it is what it is. So, but I'm gonna be doing this live when we got 15,000 people on here listening,
man.
I'm still gonna be doing it
I'm
then.
excited for you for that day.
Yeah, me too. But but you learn. I mean, I learned little something about looking at these charlatans. So there's a reason why they get the fame and the money that they do. A lot of it is image, and so a lot of times people need the packaging in order to really understand what the value of what you're giving, what you're giving. But I appreciate you calling in, bro. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate the love.
Sure, Dante. If I can say one last thing though, especially because you brought up Major.
Sure.
That's because I saw you in I actually saw you and Godfrey live when you guys were at the Wilbur Theater in Boston, and you freaking rocked the house, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think Godfrey is probably one of the greatest comics of our time. He just is so. He has so much talent and so many dimensions to his comic that I honestly don't know if there's another comic that has the wherewithal to do the things that he does. But saying that, I sit on a chair and sit in the pocket, and I don't throw nothing but strikes. So it's awesome if you come see us or whatever, because we're such different in style. But I headline in my own right. So thank you, man. I appreciate you bringing that up, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Doctor. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for everything.
All right, brother. Thanks for calling, bro. Send me some money. Let me see. Yeah. But yeah, we were talking about the growth. You need to you got to understand, like there's usually a moment, there's a thing that happened that's a moment, like when people need to change and they need to be different. But that moment, there needs to be something catastrophic that you can speak to, that makes that you go, wow, this happened, and I'm never gonna have that. I'm never gonna have that happen again. And a lot of times when you don't have that, people are easily back into they can fall back into the same bullshit. I appreciate you, Mark. Thank you. You mean, I know what you mean. Be as big as Kevin Samuels or bigger, not like him, but you can start engaging with more women. Yeah, I'm planning on it, but it's the honest reason why, and I appreciate any of the women that listen. That shout out to Tanya and some of the other people that listen. But the reality is, you can't fix this from a woman's perspective, and I'll explain to you why. You can't really fix the relationship from the woman's perspective, because if you've ever heard somebody go, a girl, you're a nice guy, and her girlfriend say, girl, he's such a nice guy, give him a chance. You might as well shoot yourself in the head, because what you yeah, Miles, you can send in the written testimonial. Sure, absolutely. You can you can send me a message right on the website. So DanteNero.com, you can set a written testimonial. I'll put those up as well. The The reason why you can't fix the relationship, if a girl says, if her girlfriend say, "Oh, he's such a nice guy, give him a chance. He likes you." What you're asking her to do is you're asking a strong woman to be weaker. You're asking her to accommodate a man who can't really handle her in the first place. If you don't have the confidence and the wherewithal to maintain or to not tolerate the disrespect from somebody who is, in your mind, you feel like that is out of your league, or you think that, or she thinks you cannot ask a woman who is, even if a woman is disrespectful, she has to be with a guy who is just not going to tolerate her disrespect. I used to say this all the time. If you act pussy, you will get fucked. You can have the nicest woman in the world, but if you're like happy life, happy wife, if you don't understand, if you're not foundationally don't know your boundaries and what it is to what your non-negotiables are, you will crumble under a woman who is what she perceives as alpha woman, which I don't believe that at all. But the point is, and it's not a matter of being aggressive or being abusive, but it's a matter of setting the standards in which understanding what your value is, presenting what your value in a relationship is, and then saying, I will not, I have standards that I want to be treated like, and I want to be treated in this certain way. And if you don't, you will not gain access. It is what it is. And if you're not in a position where you can do that, you can't have somebody advocate like her girlfriend's advocate, because that reverts itself to what we call pity pussy. Let me read this comment real quick. Ben said, "You helped me on a hard decision about a year ago, and I'm getting back in touch soon. I got you with the testimonial. Thank you." Young Bass Prince says he's better than Kevin Samuels. Well, I thank you. I appreciate that too. You might as well shoot yourself, man. I thought about that. Good thing that I'm not a gun owner. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean it that way. Let's not, I don't want to have nobody on some shit. But I've even dealt with that. I've had guys, I've talked about this. I had a guy who called me up. He was 28 years old, said, "Look, I'm a virgin. I'm 28 years old. If I'm still a virgin by the time I'm 30, I'm gonna kill myself." It's that serious. And so, trust me, it's not that big a deal. Trust me. But I definitely could see how this could happen. We've seen in the last few years, we've seen dudes who don't get incels and MGTOW and motherfuckers who have actually went in and unalived women because they weren't they weren't accessible. And so this is important, but it's also about understanding how to manage your happiness. And hopefully you can pick up and just decide that you've had enough, and you don't need something catastrophic to happen in order for you to change your pathway. And you can find, because here's the thing, it's amazing. It's funny. I'm trying to think if it was a consultation or what. But I think it was a consultation. I think it was a call we had on Tuesday. I mean, in the chat, if y'all know what I'm talking about, but it was a guy called in and he was like, he was just lying and stuff like that. But the thing that he realized was that he has 2 daughters and he loves his daughters, and he understands that if he is a better man, that he creates the model from which his daughters will see themselves as a man. Like, not see themselves as a man, or just choose the men that they, because if you're a shit father, right? your daughters they're going to date you. They're going to date the guy that you are. And if you're not working on fixing that, on being a better human being, dog, you're dooming your son to be a pussy, and you're dooming your daughter to be a bitch. And then they have to start from scratch in their 18, 19, in their 20s, where they gotta reprogram the nonsense you allowed to happen in your household, and the things that you've done. Because I've seen it over and over and over again, where people, they're reckless about their own lives, and then they find out that they they find out that their daughter, a lot of times they're not involved, but they because they don't have boundaries, and their dad hasn't set boundaries, and their dad hasn't set boundaries. Sometimes it's not even boundaries with the daughters, that they haven't set boundaries with the mother, and and there's this disrespectful kind of situation. I dated this young girl once where her mother, like the father had a baby out of wedlock, right? And they were all 70 years old, and she was still giving him the business for the baby he had out of wedlock when he was 20. And so till the very end, she gave him the business, put his balls in a ringer. And then, because she gave him such a hard time, he kind of disowned his own son. So his son ended up with all kinds of, anxiety and problems, and just never really got himself together. And so we have to understand that, like, when we decide to have children, all this crap that we are talking about, it becomes work. It doesn't even matter, because the priority is that next generation. Understand something. Everybody knows that I'm an atheist and I'm not a religious person, but the real immortality is moving your DNA to the next generation. It's having somebody with your DNA to move, that you raise. And the relevancy of that is really important. And because what you put in is who they're going to be. You don't have sure, they have direct relationships, or they have direct correlation to the decisions that they make, but they learn how to make those decisions from you, and you have a responsibility for that. So, not only Pete Davidson, but a couple of other comedians and celebrities in the earlier Beige Phillip. Yeah, anybody that knows, and that's another thing. Let me put that up. Sign up for the Patreon. The Patreon, I have endless content, years of content, interviews with people that that I helped change the course of their lives, and gave them big game, and we've had conversations and stuff like that. So if you go on you sign up for the Patreon, it's patreon.com, manschool202. Also, when it comes to the Patreon episodes, the Patreon members are going to be the ones that control the narrative of the Patreon episodes, the bonus content. So whatever you want as a Patreon member to hear about, you can send an email, and we will talk about that and give information specifically on whatever topic you're talking about. Maybe even stuff that you might ask a question, and there may be something relevant that I could teach or show you that what my experience is. And it's interesting. The brother called in and talked about TK and me talking loud and whatever. And if I can change, you can change. I'm 58. I'm still growing, still trying to be better, still trying to be dope, live a dope life. And what's better than that? Ooh. Let me see. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, what up, Dante? This Andre from Arizona again.
What's up, Andre? How you doing, bro?
Good, bro. Good, bro. I just wanted to. I ain't got a question, bro. I just wanted to call and give you your flowers and your thanks, bro, for the call last time. That
I
really,
appreciate you,
really
brother.
helped me.
Thank you,
Yeah,
brother.
man. It helped me realize I low key been kind of a simp, man, low key. So I've been kind of stepping back and trying to self reflect on myself. So I
Now,
appreciate that, man.
when you say stepping back, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Just like reflecting on like how I approach women and trying to do the friendship, just being too open, initially or operate, just trying to
Now,
take my time.
do you do the friendship thing and hope that you could smash? Is that you try to friendship your way into some booty?
Nah, not regularly. I was in that last situation though, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, let me tell you. I mean, I know you didn't answer the question, but there's always something going on that you can, like you can work and have that prayer view where you can fix it. The reality is, no, that's not understand something. Think about it from a woman's perspective. You are hanging out with a friend who has misled this woman to think that you're a friend, and deep down you wanna smash, right? There's nothing sexy about that. Basically, you are being dishonest. Even if you're being a friend, if you're the greatest friend in the world, she will look at that as resent that because of the fact that deep down you wanted something else. You were deceptive. And understand something, when we talk about the empathy of women and the fact that they do have to deal with the predatory men and predatory family members and stuff, and that's something that they've been dealing with since the inception of humanity. You being deceptive reads as deceptive, reads as dangerous reads as let me get the fuck out of here, as creepy. And
right.
And what's really sexy about presenting your intentions is really what's sexy about that is that you're, in essence, this woman feels as though she's wanted. Now, look, that's not a great feeling when you don't want the person back. But even when you don't want the person back, women are flattered by the fact that other people are attracted to them. Everybody wants to be wanted. And so when you present your case, if you present your case 10 toes down like you mean it, it's always a better situation. The problem is a lot of times we don't want to be rejected. And because if we're afraid that if we're rejected, then it questions, the rejection really questions what is our value. We start to, but this is, I always say this. You listen to the show, you're going to hear me say a lot of the same things over and over. Never let a woman define you, because if you do, it won't be long until you ain't shit.
Yep.
Because they're going to love you when I'm doing what you want me to do. But you're going to hate me when I don't do what you want me. But here's the real point. Love is synonymous with respect. Doesn't happen without respect. You can't love somebody and not respect them. You can't pity somebody and respect them. And if you can't respect them, you can't love them. So even if you're presenting your case up front, this is why I like you. I'm interested in you. I'm interested in getting to know you, right? And you're doing it in an honest, upfront way. Then you give her the option to say, yeah, I'm not interested. And if she goes, I'm not interested, then you can go, okay, fair enough. But then if you sit around and you're waiting, you're trying to friendship your way into some booty, right? Hold on. Big shouts. You got a super chat from Femi Odele. Thank you, brother. You're trying to friendship your way into some booty. Then what? In essence, it's all right. If and this almost never happens, but if it does happen, all right, let me see. Maybe I'm bored. I ain't got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
The guys that I really want are not available. So, I mean, who does that?
Right. Yeah.
Who does that? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's never happened. I'm just saying, but is that really the context in how you want somebody to be interested? You want to be with somebody who wants you like you want them. I think that's
like some sympathy shit. No.
yeah, because why would you have any enthusiastic about something? It's funny. I have this thing that I do that I've done like where if you have a stalker, and I used to tell this to women, you want to get rid of your stalker, I have the best way to get rid of your stalker. All you got to do is treat them like they're acting. What I mean is, I had this girl, she was stalking me, and I was like, look, honestly, I'm just really not interested. And she was like, you don't know how much I love you and how much you need me in your life. She kept, and I was like, well, first of all, the way you dress, this is crazy. You got to change this. And I was like, your hair color, that got to change. And you got to buy me some stuff. Like, I told you I don't like you. You gotta sweeten the pot. Buy me some new shit.
Hell yeah.
Get me a. I need a new Sherlin. I need a new. Get me a fur. And at first they going, oh, I'll do that for you. I'll do that. And then what happens after time, right? Because you're asking for stuff, and you listen. You call your mother too much. Stop calling your mother. If you gonna be with me, you gotta stop calling your mother. Oh, can I come over? Yeah, you can come over and you can give me a blowy, but you got to get out immediately. And then she was like, I'm starting to think that you don't really like me. I go, aha, ding, ding, ding. Now you get it. I don't like you. So if you want to be with me, it's going to cost you. Well, I don't want to be that. If you don't like me, then I go, see, now you getting it. Now you finally getting it. You finally getting that I don't like you. But when I gave you that option and tried to treat you with the respect so that you can move on and find somebody who doesn't, you didn't want that. You're going to force me to do something that I don't want to do. So you just give it to them. You imagine if you got a guy and the guy is stalking you and he goes, "Oh, listen, I need a Louis Vuitton bag." Well, I don't really. I work at the factory. Well, I don't give a shit. Give me the bag. But I got to pay my rent. I don't give a shit about your rent. Give me the bag. But I'm gonna be homeless. Yeah. Well, did I ask you if you was gonna? You'd be so quick where the stalker will go. You know what? I feel like you don't really like me. Bing, bing, bing. Now you get it. Whereas if you are, please don't call me, that turns them on because it's like you're giving them resistance and they can, they're something to push against. But like, look, you gotta here, listen, I need you gotta come to my house and clean my house.
Hell yeah.
Clean not even my house, just my toilet. And then get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying somebody that cleans your house is a hard. I'm just saying, but you just ask for irrational, unrealistic things. Stop talking. But I just wondered, didn't I say stop talking? I feel like you don't like me. Exactly. Now you get it. That's how you get rid of it.
No, I got you.
That's how you get rid of a stalker. Just be unreasonable and be just, and people go, oh, I would never do. Okay, well, then plan on them hanging from the windowsill, peeking through your window, because it gets to the point where they don't want that. They, look, I got to pay my rent this week. Nigga, I don't care about your rent. I need this bag. So get this bag. Rob a bank if you need to rob a bank. So it's interesting. But yo, I appreciate you calling, family. Thank you.
Hell yes, appreciate you. Appreciate you, Dante.
All right, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is so, and trust me, though, I also understand. It's hard to look at things holistically. I mean, as a whole. So you get people who are giving advice, and Like for instance, just God bless you, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. But Kevin Samuels was absolutely dead on with the statistics. How many women die alone? What percentage of men? What percentage of men make this amount of money in the course of their year? What's the average income of this? What's the average of height? All of those things. He was dead on to that. But what we've all seen, I actually have a joke about this. It's like when you see somebody who's good, you ever see a good looking dude and he with an ugly broad? Why is he with the ugly broad? Because that guy is the physical manifestation of his self-esteem. That's what he feels his worth is. And if he thinks that's his worth, why would he expound to have somebody else? Or when a guy is with somebody and maybe the woman is attractive, but she's abusive. He feels like, why do we put up with that? Why would you put up with that? It's because you think that the treatment that you're getting is what you deserve. And when I've said this 1,000 times, at least 1,000 times. How does a woman get to know who you are? You tell her. She's going to ask you what your job is, what you this, but she's also going to look at the way you walk, the confidence that you have. Your head is held up, your chest is out, your back is. She's going to ask you who you think you are, and even the stuff that you don't verbalize. What is she is going to treat you like trash, right? So that you know that's what she thinks of you. And if she thinks of you, she's treating you accordingly. How does she know that the way she's treating you is it doesn't match up? You got to say something. Hey, yo, don't talk to me like that. I just this young comic, and she was like hanging out with me and God, and just disrespectful, just beautiful girl, beautiful, but just trash human being, just a trash. And I was like, you're horrible. It was interesting because we were in the comedy club in the green room, and like the waiter would come, she would flirt with the waiter, she flirt with the waiter, oh, you're cute, baby, just hyping people up, just gassing people up. And I said, what you she goes, well, he seemed to like it. And I go, you're a horrible human being. I said, because you're doing that with no intention. You have no intention to give this guy your number or going at me, because you're a broke bum bitch, and you're trying to get the paper. You want to get flued out. You want somebody to pay you. You want somebody to do your nails and your hair and your toes, your pedicure, your heart. And instead of you going to get it, you waiting for somebody else to get it for you. So you're gonna dangle the pussy on the end of the carrot stick, right? While you really holding it hostage. Do what I want, otherwise I'm gonna kill the pussy. No, son, you gotta be like, when that happens, you gotta shoot the pussy. Pow! Now what? You ever see that on a movie where the guy says, put your guns down, otherwise I'll kill him. And then the guy, the gangster, shoots his friend. Pow! Shoots him. You cannot. Nobody should have that kind of leverage over you. If they don't care about you, you can't care about them. Now, I'm not saying I also don't think that you should be so excessive that you're jumping out the window, because that ain't good either. That is control. I'll tell you a quick story. My middle sister, horrible human being. I would say God bless the dead, but I wouldn't say that, because she was such a cunt. And the thing about that is, I resented my middle sister so much, right? Because she didn't have no place. She was a bum. She was living with me and didn't have no place. and 70 years old, 70 something years old, just a horrible, horrible human being. Never taught, and it was definitely my father's fault. It was absolutely my father's fault because my father and my mother, they allowed this kind of behavior. So who was I? I was the baby boy. Why would you respect me? But you can get to the point where you resent that so much that it starts to be the vein of your existence, where now I was treating her worse than I would treat somebody homeless that was bothering me from the street. Like, she was still a human being, and I had to roll that back up, because it's all about balance. It's just, if anybody boxes, understand that you need to have balance. You need to have your weight centered between your legs, because if you lean forward, right, you throw a punch, you fall in, and you get knocked out. If you lean back, right, when you go to retreat, you got to have balance so that you can move forward and back, side to the side. If you don't have balance, you don't have that mobility. So even when you have created boundaries, creating the boundaries need to be measured, just like you have to, just like you can't that love comes with conditions. There are conditions. There's a condition to the amount of respect that you get, and the attentiveness, and all of those things are very important. You also it has to be conditional. There has to be these non-negotiable. There has to be these boundaries. And if you don't have any boundaries and you allow somebody to treat you any way they want, they will. I've told this story on the show before. I don't know how long ago. I had a guy I worked in the phone company. I helped him. He wouldn't. It was bad little Dominican chick, just 18 years old, gray out, just smoker. And I was like, look, today we used to go to this little breakfast spot on 125th Street, little Dominican spot, and he would go in there every day. And the girl was gorgeous. And I said, listen, you got to go talk to this girl. And he was like, no, I mean, she's busy right now. I said, listen, here's what you do. We're at the phone company. I said, either you go talk to her today, or you could come back in the back of the truck and I'm going to whip your ass. You could fight me or ask the girl for the number. He's like, come on, don't do that. I go, well, so it's your choice. You fight me, or go get the girl's number. Man, looked back at me, went inside. He asked the girl barely spoke English. He was like, I was wondering, I would love to take you out on a date. She goes, when tonight? He's like, what? So easy. He's like, no, I got to get paid, and then this weekend. Okay, take my number. Took nothing. Everything that he was afraid of, everything that he thought was going to end up turn to go left, and it was going to get cursed out or whatever. None of that happened. He dated the girl. They started going. They were hanging out. Nice. I felt so good. But this is what I'm saying about how you got to be ready for the Super Bowl. This is why you don't skip phases when you lay the 5 bricks. This is why you do the whole plan. This is why you do what I tell you on based on moment to moment. Because the bottom line is this: if you don't, you will miss parts of the whole. So he dated the girl, married her. I remember the first argument they had. The first argument they had was because she had cooked dinner and he washed his own dishes. She was angry at him because he washed his own dish, right? That was the problem. You don't think I'm woman enough to wash my man's dishes and cook for my man and take care of what do you think I am? Don't disrespect me like that. I'm here for you, right? 5 years later, they married. 5 years later, the whole Dominican Republic had moved in with him. His mother lived there. The mother had a boyfriend there. She's cussing him out. He got a kid with her. she's cussing him out, calling him all kinds of puta and all kinds of doing what she want, cheating on him, all kinds of crap going on. He took a girl who literally was straight from the Dominican Republic, couldn't even speak English. Her biggest gripe was the fact that he didn't allow her. He didn't allow her to wash the dishes. And he goes, and he changed that to somebody who disrespected him, ended up in a divorce. His son, she was let his son do whatever the heck she wanted to do, and it went to shit. So it can happen. I mean, you even the nicest girl in the world, if you act like a pussy, you will get fucked. Greg Rojas, welcome to the chat. When you say what are the 5 pillars, I wouldn't say 5 pillars. That there's 3 principles. The principle is ACE. You know what? Listen, here, call in and I'll explain it to you. Let's do that. Call in. The number's on the bottom: 929-269-4922. Send me some money. What's wrong with my sound effects? There it is. Let me make sure I'm good. Yeah. Awesome. But I mean, there's 3 pillars. The principles are ACE, which is authenticity, tell the truth, credibility, always keep your word, and empathy. Know that other people have gone through things that you haven't gone through and that you may not be aware of how to operate from their perspective. Now, that doesn't mean you always change what your perspective, but it should be a factor from which that you operate. Phone number's up, 929-269-4922. Thank y'all for calling in. Send me the love, but send me some money. Yeah. Big shout to my boy Ali Sadiq. Proud of him. I'll talk about it later. I won't tell you why. But yeah, it's dope. 929-269-4922. I'm still working on I'm gonna do a collabo with Professor Dave about instinct and pair bonding and stuff, like some of the more technical stuff. Is like I don't really talk about this as much as I should, but we have to understand that we are mammals, and a lot of the problems, some of the problems that arise with our problems that we have in relationships is based on what our instinctual drive is. Like, guys, when you're a young 20-year-old guy, like there is the survival of the species, but there's also survival of the individual. So one of the reasons why what you want is you want your DNA to be passed to the next level. And so this is hormones and all these other things that make you create that attraction between women, and how you aggressively and how we want to, when we're young, we want to put our P in every B, every V. So yes, Young Bass, I am also working on the live dinner. It's not just going to be in Brooklyn. I'm not sure where it's going to be, but this year we will definitely be doing the live dinner. Dinner with Dante, where we sit down and you pay them. It'll be sort of like a consultation, but an in-person consultation. We're gonna sit down, eat, drink, and y'all are gonna we're gonna be in a situation where we're gonna have those dinners, and I'm gonna go to some of the major cities and to a city near you, and we'll do a dinner at a really cool place. We'll eat, and then part of the price will be dinner. You'll probably pay for your drinks or whatever you drink, so you're not forced to do that. And then you can chop it up with me live. It'll be like a live in person. You can ask me whatever you want to ask me. No, I mean, this is so Jay, so just so you know, this was one of the early samples of the shirts. My boy Major's working on the store and everything. It's not the original shirt is not gonna. We don't have a V-neck because it kind of will screw up the logo thing. So it's a crew neck. But this is one of the samples. So if you like the logo, we're gonna do a hoodie. We're gonna do a couple other designs, and then I'll be releasing designs on the website. That's scheduled to drop. I can almost smell it. It's right there. So there's that. So the t-shirts will be won't be there won't be what you call it. Won't be V-necks, but this is just a sample. This is like an irregular sample, just kind of what we're playing. But that's what the logo, just so you see, that's what the logo looks like. I'm a big dude, so this is a huge logo for the t-shirt. But anyway, yeah, the merch is gonna be fire. I'm really high quality stuff as well. So there's that. Phone lines up 929-269-4922. Don't forget to like. I don't care what platform you're on, man. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell so that we can, so that that you get notified whenever I go live. Also, don't forget the one-on-one consultation. One-on-one consultations, DanteNero.com. Click on consult and and the Patreon. Real quick, the Patreon is patreon.com/manschool202 for the bonus content. To understand that the way we're reformatting the Patreon is that you, as a Patreon member, are going to control the content. So what you ask for, that's what we're going to give you. If we don't get something that you ask for, then we will. I'll talk about some poignant stuff that I think is going to be helpful. Yeah, the hoodie is hard. The hoodie's hard. I've seen it. I haven't got a sample of that yet, but we will. West Coast. Am I doing eventually I'm gonna come out. Also, I think we're gonna do the dinner with Dante. I think we're gonna do it in New York first, and then I think we're gonna do it LA, and then we're gonna do Philly, Boston, Chicago, Detroit, some of the major cities, Austin. So we're gonna do that also. So we're gonna build that up. That's coming down the pike. We've been on like an hour and 20. We got a bunch of motherfuckers in the chat. Y'all doing it. I appreciate y'all. Y'all shout out to Miles and Jay Peso, Young Bass Prince, all these other dudes. I shouted everybody. Greg Rojas, BAP in the building, M Sleek. Thank y'all. Frosty, what's going on? Black is planning a 3 with a home. Okay. My BM, I'm not sure what BM is. Miles, you can put that in. Let me put this question up since and I got room for one more call before we shut it down. So Miles says my BM, my baby mama, my bad, is planning a threesome with her homegirl this weekend. First time all of us getting together, but not any of our first threesome, I guess. Any different etiquette in this situation or the same normal 3? I'm not, I'm going to try and decipher this, Miles. Remember this, if your baby mama is I've said this 100 times, your baby mother is setting up a threesome, right? I don't know how cool you are with her homegirl, but it does not matter. Everything you do is filtered through your baby mama. You kiss her first, you go down on her first, you fuck her first, she gets the nut, you understand the etiquette of this. The fact that she is she must be, if this is your homegirl's, is your baby mama's homegirl, they probably been fucking around before. This is not the first time that this is happening, or yeah, they've definitely fucked around before. So keep that in mind. But what you have to do, the etiquette to make your baby mama feel. Understand this, that your baby mama is the linchpin to the threesome. She is the one that's setting it up, right? And she's doing it, and she trusts you to bring you in. So understand that the etiquette is just like if you went to somebody's house for dinner, right? You don't just go get up and fix your plate. You sit down and you wait your turn. So everything that you do has to, any affection, anything that's initiated, anything that's going in, that's going to happen if you go down, if you get whatever, your baby mama is the priority. She has to be the priority, and her homegirl has to be secondary, which is really, and I've said this to guys hundreds of times, and they in the moment they just wild out. Shout out to my boy Cinnabon. That's how he did his first threesome. I remember he was doing his first threesome, and listen, we were consulting back then. This was way back. And he was on his way to the threesome, and I called him, and I was like, remember, everything goes through the girl who is setting up the threesome. What'd he do? Exactly the opposite. And the whole thing blows up in your face. You got what you don't, let me explain this, Miles. You don't want this to be a situation where she is regretting the fact that she set this up. You want this. You want this to be a situation where she respects where you're basically saying to her, the etiquette is that you're respecting the fact that she's sharing this with you, and by respecting the fact that she's sharing this with you, the etiquette is that you hold her in high regard. Now, if she says, eat her ass or whatever, that's the one. But as a rule, everything goes through your baby mama first. Have the respect for the fact that she's setting this opportunity up, and sharing something with you that, trust me, there's plenty of people that she wouldn't share that with. I mean, you got to understand, if you think about her and her girlfriend sitting around talking about, yo, we should get a guy, but you know what, I'm going to call my, like, you got to understand that there's a certain level of trust that, she's going to bestow on you, and even to pull you into this, and you disregarding that is you moving forward in bad faith, if that makes sense. 929-269-4922. The phone lines are open. I'm going to shut this down in another minute. We've been in it for an hour and 25. Big shouts to everybody in the chat. Big shouts to everybody. Send me some money. Cash out. But I appreciate everybody calling in. I appreciate all the love that 929-269-4922. Let me put up this. When I finish doing these advertisements, we out. So if you got a call, you better call. Something you trying to talk about. Support the show and the bonus content, gaming technique, and direct email access. Direct email to me directly through the app. Access will be patreon.com/manschool202. If you want to book a session, go to DanteNero.com, click on consult. You can book a session. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. If y'all dig what we doing, and I know y'all do, I can feel the energy, especially those in the chat. Every time y'all in this chat, y'all should be hitting a share. Y'all should be texting somebody and hitting a share, somebody that you think needs to know this information. So that's what it is. We're going to shut it down. Let's see. Yo, GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? Hold on one second, real quick. Shout out to Miles French, $25 from Miles French. Thank you, brother. Let's see if we got everybody. Hold on. Did I say? Yeah. Kevin Lava. Prince Terrell, thank you for the $20. Kevin Lava, thank you for the $5. Xavier, thank you always for the $5. Presley, thank you for the $5. And Miles French, $25. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate y'all. GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, What Would Dante Do? The Sexual Revolution is being podcasted. Yo, I love y'all, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank y'all for your support. Thank you for the flowers. We are out.